Hello YouTube, this is my brand new iPad Pro M4 11-inch. I have to say, this is probably my favorite Apple product at the moment. But before I tell you why and give you my first impressions, let's go through a quick unboxing, shall we? Alright, and here's the box. I'm glad to see that the iPad box is the only box that hasn't shrunk from lack of Apple accessories inside. But yeah, here's the iPad, set that aside and take a look at that later as per custom. There's the paperwork, and we've got a 20-watt charger, USB-C of course, and we've got a USB-C to C cable, black, which is even better. And here's the paperwork. You know, it's just your regular paperwork. And yeah, all right, so here's the iPad. Let's take this paper off. Yup, and that's the unboxing. Now, if I've got any viewers here that have been watching me for some time, you guys will know that I've actually upgraded from an iPad Air 2020. And my experience with that iPad was really good. I actually had an iPad Pro before that, and my experience with that wasn't so great. It came broken out of the box. The display had this weird black line going through it, dead pixels. And this was during the time where there was the chip shortage and iPads were virtually unavailable here in India. And I managed to snag one, just not the right one. So I ended up returning it, getting the iPad Air, and now here we are 4 years later. I've upgraded to the M4 iPad Pro. Why? Well, I wanted a powerful device that I could use on the go. Now, I do have a MacBook, but I wanted something that was a little more portable. The 4th generation iPad Air that I had before this was just fine, working-wise at least, but I wanted to do more with it. I like the intuitiveness of touchscreens. I edit a lot of photos and videos, and having that on this rather than my MacBook is a huge plus point. I think that this is a lot easier to carry around than a full-fledged MacBook. And yeah, just being able to slide this in a backpack with a nice case on it and be able to edit images and video on the go is great. Because if you watched to the end of my last video, you'll notice that that video was completely edited on the iPad Pro. And I plan on doing that with the full review for this thing. I just couldn't do it now because I had already started a Final Cut project for my iPad Pro unboxing. Yeah, sucks that you can't take Mac projects and upload them onto the iPad, but I'll be making my full review on this iPad. Right, I got sidetracked. Let me give you my first impressions. Of course, my first impression when I took it out of the box straight away was this thing is super light and super thin. Even the Apple Pencil, I don't know if you can see that, the Apple Pencil is thicker than the actual iPad itself. And then you've got the actual iPad, which is super thin. And I saw a stat going around on Twitter recently. The 13-inch iPad Pro's thinness is the thickness of the iPhone XR's bezels, which is wild to think about. There's just so much power packed into this thing. Now I'm gonna be speaking about this Pro objectively compared to my iPad Air 4. And immediately off the bat, ProMotion and the OLED display are game changers. I can't state how much I like this display over the iPad Air. The iPad Air at full brightness, especially with, you know, these tempered glass on, causes a lot of reflectivity. You've got to crank it up to full brightness if you want to view dark scenes. And yeah, that doesn't really work out well. You just end up seeing more of yourself in the reflection than the actual content. And blacks aren't even black, they're just dark gray. So yeah, this screen is amazing. Performance has been great while maintaining that battery life. While I was editing the 4K clips on the previous shot on iPhone video I made, I was fooling around a lot in Final Cut Pro and I didn't really lose too much charge. I was actually quite impressed. It holds up well. And the speakers are also a really nice upgrade. It's got a little bit more bass than the iPad Air, but it's a more fuller sound because it's got 4 speakers compared to the 2 on my iPad Air. And I'm actually on FaceTime calls quite a lot with my friends, so this new upgraded center stage camera is well worth it to me. I really like being able to move around the frame and just be in it always. The improvements to the camera are welcome, but even when it came to document scanning, it was a little soft. And we've also got LiDAR for measurements, which is actually quite helpful. While I was planning and setting things up in this room, measurements were a big thing, and using the LiDAR on my phone was a big plus point. So being able to do it on a bigger screen should be even better. And of course, it's got flash. So, you know, if you ever need to use your iPad in the dark where you can't see where you're going and you have only this with you, you can use flash on this thing. All right, and storage. I didn't get double the storage, I got way more storage. I went from 64 gigabytes on the iPad Air to a whopping 256 gigabytes on this one. Now, granted, I never really ran out of space on my iPad Air because I wasn't doing that much on it apart from consuming content and editing the odd photo or two on it. And I could anyways plug in an external SSD, transfer what I wanted, put it on there, take it off. Super simple. But having a lot of internal storage means I don't have to do so much transferring very often. A lot can just sit on here, and that's far more convenient. And with this USB-C port at the bottom, Still the same story. And it's faster, so I can plug in whatever I want, transfer things even faster. Great upgrade all around. I'm actually really enjoying it, and I hope to be making a full review on this soon. So yeah, if you want to check that out, hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you don't miss any future uploads. This was my first impressions and unboxing on the iPad Pro. Wanted it to be more of a candid video, and hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, and you're seeing this portion, what should you leave in the comments? Fantastic M4 in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching, and peace. This setup is new, so I hope you could hear me.